you wide up beside and tell me side to side. You can say, JC, you're too much for me. I am a little bit of loneliness, a little bit of disregard. Handful of complaints, but I can't help the fact that everyone can see these scars. I am what I want you to want, what I want you to feel. And it's like no matter what I do, I can't convince you to just believe this is real. So let go, watching you turn your back, you always do. Face away and pretend that I'm not. I'll be here cause you're all that I got.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Top Table Talk. And look, we're apologies a few minutes late. We were in the green room talking about mini discs. Don't ask how we got into that conversation, but we were. But we're here, and we're here to talk about football. Boys, how are we this evening? How's things?
I'd rather to carry on talking about mini discs.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I'm sure Charlie and Wolfie would want to rather continue.
What year were mini discs? In the late 90s.
This is classic Wolfie.
Is this what Wolfie did to us? He carried on this conversation to stall us, didn't he?
I'm just filibustering, man. I got till 8:30, man.
I think for most of, certainly for half of the panel, it was a good weekend. It wasn't a bad weekend, but we'll get into it. But look, there's only one place to start. Charlie.
Hold on, there's only one of us in the bottom three. I think that's the place to start, isn't it?
Oh, shut up, man. I've been here every single week in, week out, right? I didn't go to the bullshit league yesterday to hide.
Yeah,
Charlie. I wasn't there, to be fair. No, I pre-warned Potts that I wasn't going to be there.
Really? When?
Monday morning.
Oh, had Chelsea played by then?
They had indeed, yes. You know full well they played on Saturday.
Well, you managed to escape some questions on Monday night, but you've not escaped them tonight.
No, I'm here. I could have said I was doing something else, but no, I'm here,
mate. I'm sure Rich and Wolfie have got questions for you. People in the chat definitely will have questions for you. But you had one job, man. You had one job. If I ever ask you to do anything, it's to beat that lot down the road. And you couldn't do it. What the hell is going on at Chelsea? You were there, man. What is going on? Seriously.
It was a really poor performance. It started so well though. We went 1-up in the first 5 minutes, and I sort of thought, we could win this too. We'll probably maybe get 2, 3, maybe even 4. But as soon as we went 1-up, we just kind of stopped playing. It was it was a really strange performance, and it's one that kind of sums us up in terms of you can go and beat the best teams, and then you struggle to beat newly promoted sides at home. It was a surprise that we lost, but it wasn't a sort of a surprise that we dropped points in this sort of game. Obviously, it doesn't make it any better. It's just inexcusable. These are the games that we have to be winning. And look, Sunderland came and they did a job on us, and we didn't have the answers, and that is a bigger concern for me. It's not the fact that we're all going to lose football matches, but for me, it's the way that we lost, and it's the kind of game that we've been losing for the last few years. A team that will come and sit in, make it difficult. They dominated the midfield, which is kind of mad, really. That's the worst game I've seen Caicedo have for a considerable amount of time.
I thought you had the best midfield in Europe.
Mate, everyone has their off days. Everyone has their off days. But Caicedo was, it didn't have a good game at all. Granit Xhaka done a job on us, which is not the nicest thing to be admitting. But Sunderland came and they did a job, and we simply did not have the answers. And that, for me, is the most worrying part. Obviously, it's shit to lose and to drop points, but you can accept losing if you've been played off the park, or if you've been undone by a moment of individual brilliance, but you can't accept it when it's the same defeat and the same mistakes that are being made over and over again. So, and it also now puts a lot of pressure on even more pressure on this week with Wolves in the Carabao, and then obviously Spurs away on Saturday. It just ups that pressure that little bit more. But no one was at the races at all. It was a collective performance of it was a poor collective performance from pretty much everyone. The attack was just non-existent. Yeah, literally, like Garnacho scores, and you sort of think, right, okay, well, go on, then let's see a bit more from you. And he literally offered nothing really from that point onwards. Neto, again, I do really like Pedro Neto, but if you're going to be a serious title challenging team or a title winning team, he is a rotation piece. That's just the reality of the situation. João Pedro at the moment is not playing well whatsoever.
When did he last score a goal?
When did he last score a goal? Fulham? Yeah, against Fulham.
13 matches ago.
It wasn't 13 matches ago. There's only been 9 Prem games.
13 matches.
This is the crazy thing is, though, that the money and the transfers and the signings that have been made, yet the same mistakes are being made. And like you said, the attack just was non-existent. And it's like, how many signings do you guys need to have a squad that is capable of being consistent?
It's not even, Rich. It's not even the amount of signings. It's making the right. It's making the right quality of signings. You know, I've got no issue with, you know, the money's being spent, and you know, there's backing from the ownership, right? So that is a plus, because not all owners put their hand in their pocket and you know, spend and invest in the squad. The big problem for me is that the quality of signings we're making are simply not good enough for what we're looking for, what we need to be achieving and what we need to be aiming and striving towards. And that's where the problem comes. You look at Saturday, for example, right? And okay, yeah, fine, Liam Delap's injured, but you have one injury to a striker and suddenly it's a massive, massive problem. That is horrendous squad building, that you have one striker gets injured and you've then got a big problem. We had Mark Guiu start on Saturday, right? Who couldn't even start for Sunderland, you know, when he was on loan.
Oh, you lot have been calling for him to start. What are you talking about?
Yeah, because we've been desperate, mate. Like that's how bad it is, right? In terms of the squad planning, is that we're so desperate for a centre forward and some sort of focal point up front that we're calling for Mark Guiu to start. And you know, this is a guy that, as I said, couldn't start for Sunderland. He was third choice at Sunderland. I don't think he started a single Premier League game for them. The only game he played for them was in the Carabao Cup, I think, to Huddersfield, and they lost. And then suddenly he's starting must-win games for Chelsea. Like it's not good enough, and it's not acceptable.
Well, you touched on it before with João Pedro, but surely he should be your guy, right?
The thing with Pedro is, right, and I do really like him. One, he's not been fit since Brentford, and the manager is still playing him. That in itself for me is a problem, right? Because right now João Pedro is a net negative on the pitch. He's simply not impacting the game. He's simply not involved. I thought particularly on Saturday, you know, he was suspended for Ajax after a stupid red card in the game against Benfica. You come back, you sort of think, right, I've got a point to prove. I got myself stupidly sent off. Let me go out there and, you know, and make a statement. His performance was pathetic. You know, the body language was off. He was strolling about. He was rolling around on the floor. This is a player who has, you know, shown what he can do, but he's introduced us to something in the Club World Cup in the first sort of 2-3 games of the season where you're sort of thinking, right, this is a standard you need to maintain. Can you maintain that standard? And unfortunately, there's been a big drop-off from him. But look, if he's genuinely not fit, like the manager said, stop playing him and play someone else, because there's literally no point playing Pedro if he's not fully fit and he's having such a lack of impact on the game. He's just a passenger constantly.
Yeah.
What is good about your team?
What is good? Well, look, the team, look, we're not terrible, but it's just the fact that there's a complete lack of consistency.
Yeah,
that's the major issue. We know that we can go and look. I was more concerned about, you know, the Sunderland game, for example, than I am about playing Liverpool at home or about playing, you know, a Man City or about playing a the Spurs, for example, on the weekend, because we tend to be able to raise our game for those teams, and we've shown that we can win those matches, and we show that we can perform to a level in a one-off game. The biggest problem for us, and the reason why we won't be title contenders, is because of games like that. Because we can't.
Whoa, say that again.
The reason why we won't be title contenders is because we can't win games like that. And
Did I hear him right, boys? That's right.
Yeah, you did. And if you want to be at the top, if you want to be competing at the top end of the table, you have to be winning games like that. And the reality for us is we aren't able to win games like that. You go back to last season, we lost to Ipswich away, we drew them at home. You know, under Pochettino, we were dropping points against Burnley, Sheffield United. You know, if you can't win these kinds of games, you're not going to finish in the table where you need to be finishing. And that's something that has to improve. And it's been a problem. And Sunderland showed the blueprint kind of how to beat us. You know, play a back five and play to your strengths, because we didn't play with intensity. We didn't play with any, desire, really. It was almost like walking football. And it was a major disappointment. And that's something that, we've got to find solutions to it. It's not just the Maresca problem. It's been a problem for previous managers, but right now it's a Maresca problem. And he's got to find the solutions, because we cannot continue to struggle to win games like against Sunderland. It's just not acceptable.
The crazy thing is sorry, Pete. The crazy thing is that the winning goal, right? You're watching that and you're seeing Brobby get the ball in the box with his back to goal. He's got two Chelsea players around him, and neither of them even attempt to try and win the ball off him. And they give him 7 seconds to control it, hold the player off, look up. There's another Sunderland player that runs in the box before the actual Sunderland player that scores runs towards the box. And then they just let him pass the ball to him. I couldn't believe what I was watching.
No, I mean, but Rich, this sums up the situation right now. The quality, it's a quality issue, because if we'd Levi Colwill got injured a month before the window closed. We had a month to do something about that. The manager stated on more than one occasion publicly he wanted a new centre back. He wasn't given a new centre back, and lo and behold, look at the issues we're having at centre back and the amount of individual mistakes that are being made at the back because of the lack of quality in that position. By the way, all players make mistakes, but if you've got top quality in those positions, far less mistakes are being made and far less goals that we've conceded this season.
Even a mistake. That's
it's basics. It's basics.
Are we having this, boys? No. Are we having? Come on, boys. We're in a safe space here. Rich, Wolfie, come on. Are we accepting this from Charlie?
I'm just being honest. Whether you want to accept it or not, that is the unfortunate reality of the situation.
He's banished players. This manager's banished players to the bomb squad. And I'm not saying that they're brilliant players or anything like that, but he's banished players to the bomb squad that aren't deemed good enough for the team. And he's still moaning about lack of signings. It's absolutely crazy.
It's more about the centre back thing. We talked about the centre back thing so many times. We have to make do with what we've got until we get to January, and maybe we look to address it then. But
buy some more players, yeah.
Well, in terms of it's about getting the quality. I'm not moaning about the amount of players that have been signed. It's the fact that the quality
you are moaning because you think you want more.
Have you got any academy players?
But not more from the standpoint of we need more players.
Where's that Hato guy you were bigging up, man?
Yeah, but he's playing left back. He's playing left back.
And he plays centre back.
He can play centre back, but that's not his preferred position. So I mean, look, at this point, I'd take anything over seeing Tosin or Chalobah at centre back at the moment, because Disasi not back in, no, but. At this point in time, the partnership's got to be Action Pong and Fofana moving forwards. But I mean, the defense is what it is right now. There's not an awful lot we can do about it. But the manager's got to control the controllables. And right now, when you look at the mistakes that are being made, the types of goals we're conceding, Tosin and Chalobah are a big part of the poor goals that we're conceding. So you can control that by not playing them.
Do you accept your club's a joke?
No, because we'll still finish in the top 4 and we'll still win something. But it's
he's going down that road. What are you going to win?
what we're going to win. Well, we're going to win a domestic cup. We've had this conversation many times. We're going to win.
This conversation never ends well for you, Charlie.
No, because we're going to win the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup. We're going to win one of those cups.
Yeah, so you're going to win the cup that qualifies you into the cup you won last year.
It's not about what it qualifies.
So what's it about?
What it's about is adding more silverware to the cabinet and continuing.
Okay, cool. So you know what you could do? You could go get yourselves double relegated and go and play in the Central Trophy. That would be silverware that goes in there.
No.
It's silverware.
No, but we're winning silverware this season. But unfortunately,
what happens if you don't, Charlie?
Then it's a major disappointment, and it would not be good enough.
Would you leave Maresca out?
No, because it depends on the context of what's happened in the season.
The context is you don't win anything.
The context is we don't win anything. It depends. Look, it depends on what's happened throughout the season. At this point in time, I've said before that for me, it doesn't really matter who the manager is, because when we're recruiting the way that we are, there's a ceiling to how high you can actually finish. So, ultimately, until the recruitment changes, and
hold on. I'm sorry. We let him get away with this crap.
There is a
ceiling to how high you can finish when you've spent nearly £2 billion.
Because, and again, this is the point you're missing, is that I'm not moaning about the amount of money spent. It's the fact that the money's been spent poorly.
I don't care if you're moaning about the amount of money that's been spent.
Manager,
you cannot sit here and say there is a ceiling on how you finish when you spend $2 billion. Do you know what? If you added all the other teams up outside of the so-called traditional Big Six,
that's the reality. Whether we like it or not, that's the reality of the situation. Is that we haven't signed good enough quality in the positions that were required.
Did Bournemouth sign good enough quality in the summer?
To do what they need to do, yeah. Bournemouth are doing a very good start to the season, but let's all be honest here. They're not going to maintain that throughout the whole course of the season. So they might finish in European space.
Do you not see my point? And I hate Bournemouth, and I hate to use them as the example.
Yeah, they've recruited well, but
it doesn't matter if you spent $2 billion, bro. It's what you're doing with the players that you've bought that are going into this team. What I'm saying is going into this team at a caliber that are meant to be good, a caliber that has potential, that has everything else, and you're sitting here saying we'll win the Carabao Cup.
No, I didn't say that. I'm saying we're going to win a domestic cup. But the point I'm making is that the quality that we've got isn't good enough to challenge the likes of an Arsenal or a Liverpool or a Man City. That's the reality of the situation.
To be honest, you summed it up before, and pound for pound, this might not approve with the majority Newcastle fan base that are watching this show, but I'm sorry, but Granit Xhaka, pound for pound, is the best signing of the season. He is the best signing of the season.
He's been great.
He absolutely dominated. He dominated Villa when we played against them. He dominated you guys. And he is the exact type of character that you need in your team. You've got too many pretenders. You've got too many players that think that they're brilliant players. And they might be on any given day, but they haven't got that. They put them up against Granit Xhaka in that midfield, and he absolutely just bullies them. And that's the problem with your team. You haven't got enough bullies. You haven't got enough character. Yeah,
we just haven't got enough.
They
haven't got enough quality.
They'll be too interested. They're too interested in posting things on Instagram and Snapchat and all that than actually producing the goods on the pitch.
It's the other side of things. I agree with you, Richard. It's the other side of things, is that if you're going to be at the top end of the table, where you want to be at the end of the season, sometimes you've got to be a bit dogged. You've got to get stuck in. You've got to grind out results. And I'm with Richie. I look at some of your players, and they are very much like prim and proper. They want to do things and play the fancy football and play things a very particular way. And when they're asked to do something a little bit different, get stuck in, grind, graft. I'll give you an example, and Chelsea fans might not agree with me on this, but I see Cole Palmer like that. I see Cole Palmer that he's very fancy and flash with his football, but when you're asking him to get stuck in and get dirty and grind and graft for the ball, I don't see him doing it. I just see one style of play, which is okay, and it will win you matches. Score a lot of goals and get a lot of assists. but that's not all you need in that type of player. You need someone that can do a bit of both. And Sunderland are like that. Sunderland are not pretty with their football, far from it. But what they will do is get in your face. They'll make it difficult.
Fast, physical, effective.
Exactly. And I think, like in years gone by, I think our other teams have showed that. I think at times you showed that last season, Charlie. But I think like Newcastle, I think we've got that with the likes of Bruno Guimaraes, Joe Linton, players like that are not afraid to get stuck in and grind and graft and get dirty. I think Villa have got that with the likes of John McGinn. You know, Tillemans can do that as well, but you've got Kamara that can get stuck in, Konza. You've got those nasty players, even Mings, even though I don't particularly rate him, but he's that type of guy. Wolfie, you've had that with the likes of Murillo and Milenkovic last season that don't mind getting stuck in. I fucking hate Yates, but he is that type of player as well. As much as I don't like him, but,
I think
Wolfie. I don't see it in Chelsea. That's my point, and that is why I agree with you, Rich, on that point. But look, there's a few questions come in, and yeah, just to add on to Sophie's question here. Not are you beating Wolves tomorrow? If you were to lose to Wolves tomorrow, do you think genuinely? Do you think there'd be discussions about Maresca being in the job much longer? Do you think there'd start to be questions asked if you lost?
There's already people that have made their mind up on the manager. So any defeats, they're asking that question all the time. But I think from a Chelsea ownership perspective, like things would have to get very, very bad for that conversation to even sort of enter the boardroom. Really, you know, there are strong reports about Maresca. After we lost back-to-back games to Man United and Brighton, you know, they came out and they, you know, obviously like they do, but they got the situation where, you know, they believe in the manager, they back the manager, the plans to assess him at the end of this season. And Chelsea aren't thinking about any sort of change during this season. Obviously, if things were to get much, much worse, then of course those circumstances change. But I don't see a situation where if we were to lose, look, even if we lost both games this week, right? We lost to Wolves and we lost to Tottenham, right? There would be obviously a lot of outrage, a lot of questioning of the manager, but from fans and obviously media and whatnot. But in terms of the Chelsea hierarchy, I don't think that would change. That wouldn't really change much in their thinking, to be honest, in my opinion.
So what are you thinking now? Because you just confused me. Because at the start of the season, you were telling us you're going for the title. Then
I said
title race.
Contenders. I said we could be contenders.
So contenders for what?
It's similar to what we did last season in the first.
No. If you're telling me you're contenders at the start of the season, I'm asking you, you're contenders for what?
Contenders,
title,
yeah, contenders for the title. I never think we're going to win the title.
So that's where your mindset was at.
That's always got to be the mindset at Chelsea. You know,
so is your mindset still there now?
Look, I'm still sticking with my prediction. We'll finish third, even because I'm not changing it after 9 games, although it's looking quite tricky right now. And yeah, look, for me, I said, look, I said we finished third at the start of the season. I'm going to stick with that. That's where I'm at. In terms of the manager, look, things would have to get really bad.
Is it acceptable on any given Sunday for Chelsea to be 8 points behind your London rivals Arsenal?
Look, it's not ideal, but we're 9 games into the season.
I didn't say ideal. I said, is it acceptable?
Look, not. It depends if it's acceptable. It's never acceptable to be points.
Who's the biggest club in London?
Well, yeah, it is, mate. You only have to look at the trophy cabinet.
Okay, so I ask again: is it acceptable on any given Sunday to be 8 points behind Arsenal?
No, we don't want to be 8 points behind Arsenal, but they're also.
And I ask if you want to or not. Stop trying to change the phrasing of the question. Is it acceptable?
Charlie, you're on the stand now, man. Come on.
No, it's not acceptable because we want to be obviously beating Arsenal, but the reality of the situation is that they are better than us right now. It's as simple as that. They are considerably better than us right now. And could we beat them in a one-off game? Absolutely. But in terms of consistency over the course of the season, they've got a better squad than us and they've got a better team than us. That's the reality.
Is that acceptable?
No, it's not acceptable. But that is
where's the outrage, man? All this freaking filibustering you've been doing for 24 minutes has led us nowhere. Because I don't know who you're angry at. I don't know who you're not happy with, and I don't know what you now expect is going to happen to rectify the situation. All I've heard is waffle.
No, because it all comes down to the fact that the players we've bought aren't good enough. But you've bought them. Right?
Yes, I know. This whole players isn't good enough. That's what I'm hearing. This is a lawless excuse, man. You're stuck with them till at least January.
Yeah, we are.
Stop moaning about them.
So we're gonna have to make do with it. But that is where the majority of the problems are stemming from, is the fact that the quality we've got on the pitch is not good enough.
Yeah. Look, I do remember, Charlie, I've got a few questions for you, but I do remember you rubbing your hands together when these signings were
some of them, not all of them.
Do you remember when he's taking the piss out of Newcastle because they got Pedro ahead of you?
Yeah.
I still like Pedro, by the way. He's just not playing well at the moment. Pedro's still it will be a good signing for us.
No goal. That's fantastic.
I just can't get over the. I just can't get over the we need more. I can't get over the we need more. We need more players. We just need more players. We just need better players.
We need more quality. We need better quality.
It's the same thing.
This is the stupidity, Rich. This is a stupidity. They had both Xavi Simons and Kudos pretty much on their knees outside. Forget how crap they've been or not. Right, they're better than some of the crap you bought.
I agree. I agree. Yeah.
They were literally on their knees on the front door at Stamford Bridge, and please let me in. Please let me in. You had Xavi Simons, like even while the ink was drying on his contract, checking his phone to see is Chelsea called. You end up getting Garnacho and freaking Kittens or whatever his name is. Like, where's the outrage from your fan base? I feel that you lot are just too defensive.
People have been calling it out.
All I see is Lewis with his freaking belt on, Don telling me you're in a title race, and you freaking reacting to everyone else's game apart from your own. That's all I see in the Chelsea fan base.
No. I've fessed up to the fact that we were shit on Saturday, and it has been a pretty mixed / poor start to the season given the fixtures.
You beat Spurs this weekend.
Yeah, we will beat Spurs.
At 3-point lane.
At 3-point lane, yeah. At 3-point lane.
If you don't beat Spurs, because it is 3-point lane for Chelsea.
It's 3-point lane, yeah.
Yeah. What's the outrage going to be like if you lose? Bear in mind, Spurs won 3 out of 18 at 3-point lane.
Yeah, no, it would be majorly disappointing if that would happen.
Disappointing.
Yeah, it would be.
Will you be able to face Deji? Will you be able to face Deji? That's the question.
Yeah, I'll probably block his number, to be honest.
You know he's calling you if that happens.
No, I'll be blocking his number.
I've got some questions before we move on. Just some quick fires. Tom's put in. Could you not recall Jackson? Is that not an option?
No, we tried to recall him when before he joined Bayern, but he doesn't want to come back. So that's not an option.
Right, okay. Big one from Sophie. Chelsea making
Chelsea are getting Champions League football next season. I don't even think that's up for debate.
Okay. Junior S has put. Do you think Emmanuel Omega at Strasbourg, very good, could arrive as early as January?
No. He won't come in January. Definitely not.
Okay. Is Maresca a good enough coach to improve your younger players instead of keep buying players?
Yeah, I think he is. I think he's good enough. I think he's shown that. He's shown he's capable of winning trophies. He's shown that he can get us playing good football. It's just the consistency that's lacking. I think he's a good enough coach to improve those younger players. Those players are improving, but it's not improving at the rate we'd obviously like them to improve. But I think he's a good enough coach to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, but you'll give him time because you're now the Blue Arsenal. So
no, the difference is, mate, the difference is that we win trophies, so we'll never be the Blue Arsenal.
Let me know your last major,
yeah, mate. We won 2 trophies just gone.
Which one?
We haven't got Champions of Europe 1980 plastered all over our ground.
You got as many as I have. Yeah. You got as many as I have. When was your last major?
Club World Cup, mate.
No. I didn't say friendly major. I said
That's not a major. Get out.
That's a major.
Honestly, this is so shameless, man. He's so shameless.
It's a major.
Okay, when was your last Premier League or Champions League title?
Last Champions League 2021.
2021. So you've been dry 4 years, and I hear it. I hear why you're glazing over Audi Cups.
We've added trophies since then. We've got Super Cups, the old Club World Cup, the new Club World Cup, Conference League. Bro, we've been adding trophies.
St. John's Paint. I hear it.
And look, tactically, if you're struggling, as Tom's put here, maybe. Oh no, that's not.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's a con lad from here. Question: can Liam Delap throw a ball like his dad?
Mate, do you know what? Maresca was asked this in a press conference this morning. And he's basically like they've not they haven't tried it. But do you know what? If you can't beat them, join them. I think maybe we'll have to start introducing some long throws. I mean, everyone seems to be doing it. So
wait, Maresca said he won't. Maresca said he won't.
Well, he said not right now. He won't. But
not right now. When?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. At some point in the future, he said he might adapt and add him in. So
yeah, but doesn't he look like an idiot for saying that? Because if he does, and when he does, then he looks like an idiot again.
Well, I mean, I don't think he's that asked about that. But I mean. Yeah, look, if you can't beat them, join them. So, yeah, maybe we need to add some long throws into the mix.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Charlie, will give you a rest for now. You can maybe turn the tide because there's some questions come in. Just before that, there's an update. Brentford are beating Grimsby. Wickham beating Fulham.
They are.
Fulham are having a shocking start to the season. And
my manager's sabotaging them.
I mean, no one's really saying anything about it. Not that they should be, but Fulham are having an awful start to the season. And
I spoke to Emilio in the build-up to our game at the weekend, and he seems to think that in the Fulham fans' perspective, there's a lot of talk that kind of Silver's almost sort of down tools because his contract's about to run out. And look, I knew. Look at him all excited about.
Can you imagine downing tools for fucking Forest?
Yeah, I can. and you know there has been rumours. Now the sources are crap to say that he is doing that. That if Fulham sack him, Forest would consider sacking Dyche to get Silver in as a market opportunity. Wow. So we would have 4 managers in a year. And those are very weak.
Can you even afford to do that?
Yeah. I mean, we just do what you did.
Postacoglu's on a shorter contract, wasn't he? Was it 18 months? And then I don't think Dyche is on a real long.
Dyche is on till 2027,
till the end of next season. Hopefully, the end of this season.
Are you still Dyche? Are you still Dyche out then, Wolfie?
Well, Rich, as I like to say it, I was never Dyche in. You can't be out if you're not in.
That's true. But one thing you can say about Dyche is that he's 1-0 up already.
Yeah,
he's 1-0 up on the previous manager.
Technically speaking, he's got the same win percentage as Ange in the league. So utter shite on Sunday, Saturday, whenever it was.
Mate, Forest are shit.
There's a few questions here, and this time this one is relevant. Tom says, Wolf, you need to concentrate on your own team. You're in a relegation scrap.
Banter
and
aside,
there's another comment here. Wolfie, where's your outrage? Third manager of the season.
Are you
watch my videos?
Are you genuinely concerned? Right, banter aside, because we can all put the act on.
The answer is no.
YouTube. You're not got 1 percentile of concern that you might go down.
No.
That was the other question from Tom. Are you going to get relegated this season? Currently in the bottom 3 with West Ham as well.
And Wolves, yeah.
Yeah, do you know it's the pattern in the 3 teams there? All ex or current Nuno teams.
That's true. That's true. So come on then. What is the deal with Nottingham Forest at the moment? You went out and signed loads of players. I was one at the beginning of the season and said some of the players that you signed, I thought Callum Morendo, there's a couple of others, Douglas Luiz. There was a few of us on this panel that were going, yeah, Douglas Luiz.
Mate, some of them aren't getting in the team though. What
exactly?
Amari Hutchinson's not getting in.
Mate, they spent nearly 40 million quid on. They spent like 40 million quid on him almost. And
he's going to talk to me about spending.
I don't know, but that's a club.
That is a lad from Man City as well. Who's a lad from Man City?
Yeah, it's a McAtee. Yeah, it's a club.
What's going on with McAtee?
I don't know, man. He's like they've lost him. They've just lost him.
And
he's genuinely not.
Yeah, club record signing. Why is he barely kicking the ball?
Who?
Hutchinson.
Oh, Hutchinson. Because okay, so this is where it's all gone wrong with Forest, is the whole Edu Nuno thing. So Edu brought in players that Nuno did. I mean, the thing is, like, Nuno it's a sackable offense in itself for Nuno not to want Douglas Luiz, which is just ridiculous. He's probably, apart from this Bournemouth game, every minute he's played, he's looked just sexy. There's no other word for it other than, and Rich will know what I mean when I talk about sexy and Douglas Luiz, both in looks and football. I'll be honest with you. He tidies up quite nicely, right? So for Nuno not to have wanted Douglas Luiz is just sheer stupidity in itself. And to want Traore instead, oh my God. But in general, and then Nuno sabotaged our Europa League thing by omitting Amari Hutchinson, by omitting Jair Cunha. He omitted Zinchenko, which I don't care about because he's shit. But still, the point is, these were all signings. And you could see by the players he was omitting, the ones that Edu had brought in, and not Nuno, or at least Nuno didn't have the blessing on it. So that in itself, that's where the disaster starts. Then Marinakis does the right thing, in spite of what opposition fans tell me, by sacking the dickhead because he was sabotaging us. I reckon he was already in talks with West Ham, because Forest, if you compare how Forest played against Brentford on the opening day versus West Ham, which was his last game, he is saying, I'm leaving the City ground and I'm taking these 3 points with me to my new job. And I still stand by that, allegedly, of course. But since then, it's just been a disaster. Marinakis makes a mistake hiring Ange. Now, I think Ange was extremely harshly treated by not just opposition fans, but by the Forest fans as well, and the media. This guy couldn't take a piss without someone criticizing the way he was holding his dick or something. It was crazy, the media circus that was around him. So I felt in a way sorry for him, but then he doesn't help himself for some of the tactics he does on the pitch. You had Milenkovic playing at right wing for like 10, 15 minutes in every game, in every kind of subset within the game. And it was horrible to watch. Even when you'd go 2-0 up, which we did a couple of times, or 2-1 up, you're still expecting some fuck up at the back, and it would come along. So he does the right thing by sacking him, and then he goes and does the wrong thing by getting Dyche, because it's an admission of wave the white flag, we're screwed, let's do it 7 or 8 games into the season, where we've seen Villa were 19th a week or two before that, and now they're undefeated and won 4 or 5 in a row. The table's so malleable still, that to hit the panic button of Dyche and then put the PR spin that they did, I had to double check. I had to double check that I wasn't in a coma when I was a kid, because I couldn't remember all these heroic games that Dyche had for Forest. I really couldn't.
One of your own, mate.
One of our own, man. One of our own. Because, you know, the boundaries of Nottinghamshire now extend out to Northamptonshire and Kettering, because that's where he's from. But he's got a house in Nottingham and he turns up for some games. Fantastic. And he was too shit to play for Forest when he was a trainee there. I get the Ian Wone, the Stone one. Okay, I'll get it. I'm not heart of stone. Those ones got me, because Ian Wone, some of those goals, I'm sure Pete will remember the 2 against Newcastle. Absolutely.
No, I don't, man.
Worldies. In fact, he cost you in that Man U, didn't he? Yeah, he did.
He cost us the title.
Yeah, I apologize. But I loved him more for the Spurs goals there. I'll say that.
This is all well and good, this lovely little speech here, but
I'm getting to it.
There's a little bit of waffle, isn't there, Charlie? A little bit of waffle.
So here's the thing. So this brings us to Dyche, and everyone got giddy over the Porto game, where we did play well, where we beat them 2-0, where we kept a clean sheet. And suddenly everyone thinks it's going to go. Everyone's like, that's Dyche ball. I'm like, that wasn't Dyche ball. That was like a cocktail of Ange ball, Dyche ball, Nuno ball. And I think there was maybe even some Pep ball in there at parts, right? It's just a complete mishmash. You'd only been there 5 minutes anyway. And then you get to a Sunday, that's Dyche ball. Put 10 behind the ball. Hunt it long and hope someone will magically appear in the opposition half when all your players are behind it anyway. And then you got Bournemouth, who I can't stand, but I cannot fault. Their press was incredible. Their desire was incredible.
They always beat you, Bournemouth.
Yeah, always. Well, we've drawn the odd game, but they also cheat. They cheated when we got promoted. They cheated with their roof when we got promoted. They cheated when they got Bolly sent off for a ghost tackle. And they cheated yesterday by getting a corner that wasn't a corner. So don't any of you tell me that wasn't a corner.
He still didn't defend it.
Yeah, but he got fouled.
Or not.
He got pushed, and then, you know, suddenly the refs looked the other way. All Bournemouth's money for Kirkes and the other centre-backs they sold. Well, we all saw where the money went yesterday. But anyway, despite that, Forest were atrocious. They couldn't even battle for the 50-50s. And then you got Dyche coming out afterwards saying, yeah, players are tired. Shut the fuck up, man. These are players. In October, he's telling me they're tired or lacking match fit. Oh, they're not up to my standard of fitness. Because you look like you just smoked a box of 20, mate. I don't know what your fitness is going to be with that voice, right? So they're saying they're tired in October. In October, when we were using that excuse in March and April, I barely could stomach it. Oh, the squad was too thin and they were tired, and that's why we bottled the Champions League. To use it in October, where we got told in the summer that this club has almost bought 2 starting 11s to take care of Europe and the Premier League. So where are these players? If they were tired, why were you still playing Anderson, who's played every single game this season, every international for England that he's been called up, and pre-seasons before that as well? Why are you not rotating the squad? You got Dominguez on the bench, you had Yates on the bench, you had Sangare on the bench. Rotate them. Your wingers are tired. Okay, so where is McAtee? Where is Calamuendo? Where is Hutchinson, as you were mentioning, Charlie?
What about that
all these players
you got from Leon or from...
Well, where's Back?
Back was injured.
There's another one who scored a few early on in the season.
Well, I can't remember, man. There's players we've forgotten about who we haven't seen.
Ndoye.
Literally.
Ndoye shit. He played. He's shit, man.
I did watch your watch along, and you the first thing I heard you say when I turned on was Ndoye's so shit.
Where is this improvement coming from to ensure that you don't go down? What are you thinking is suddenly going to happen, that you're going to start playing well enough to get
that someone is going to put a rocket up the players' asses, and the players are going to have to look around and say, you know what, we had Ange, he was shit. You know what, we got this Ginger Cooper now, he's shit. If we don't pull our finger out, we're going to have to do this ourselves and literally just go on the pitch and play football, man.
So you're not really having any confidence that something's going to switch and you're suddenly going to start playing decent football.
Dyche.
Well, no, just even football, just to pick up results and pick up points.
Someone just needs to show those players the first game against Brentford.
Who's captain?
Destroyed, huh?
Who's the captain?
The captain is the person who needs to be dropped.
Oh yeah, it's Gibbs White, isn't it?
Yeah, he can.
Yeah, I bet you wish you'd sold him now.
You're not a fan of Gibbs White.
Find me a clip in the summer where I said don't sell him. Find me a clip. I just didn't want him to go to Spurs. You know what? I rescind that. I'd have loved him to go to Spurs now with the form he's in. I'd absolutely loved him to have been a virus in that Spurs team.
What are your next games coming up?
United, we win that.
United where? United at City Ground.
Yeah. Because United are doing their whole chest out. We're back.
They're doing their embarrassing celebrating 3 wins in a row, like won 3 leagues. Yeah, I hear it.
Exactly.
The super chat really quickly. Warren, cheers for the super chat. It says typical example of owner interference with the manager. There's definitely things that we mentioned last season that we got pummeled for. Me and Charlie mentioned Marinakis going on the pitch and doing the rest of it, and it seems like we were right.
Where's Marinakis interfered?
The only thing I would say is on not necessarily the owner, but this Edu.
Yeah, Edu's been a disastrous.
Yeah, he fell out with Arteta at Arsenal. And now he's gone, and look what's happening to Arsenal. And now he's gone in at Forest, and look what's happening there. So, is there something?
I'm more objective about that Edu thing, because there are certain sects, and they're getting louder in the Forest fan base on Edu saying disaster, disaster, disaster. My rebuttal is, where were all you lot when you were glazing all the signings that Edu brought in the summer? No one was complaining about Douglas Luiz coming in, apart from Nuno. So that's an Edu signing. He wanted him at Arsenal.
That's a fair point. But
this Dyche thing, sorry to cut you off, Charlie. This Dyche thing, they clearly have taken the responsibility away from Marinakis, and they've said that this was appointed by Edu and George Sirianos. They did their data research on this.
Yeah, but wouldn't of Marinakis would have had to have signed off on appointing Dyche anyway.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is the PR spin is that this is on Edu. So basically, if you read between the lines of what they're saying, that if Dyche fucks up, it's not Marinakis' fault. That's the spin they're trying to put on it.
So basically, he's basically used Edu and that other geezer as a shield if it goes to shit.
Yeah, exactly that. That. And Pete will back me up. I told Pete plenty of times, despite what Rangers fans say about Ross Wilson, he was excellent for Forest. And you guys have got yourself an absolute gem there. He was excellent. And I think he's pulling a couple of others. In fact, I think again, George Sirianos, I heard as well. Good luck with him.
Oh, really?
I think I heard that somewhere. I don't know how true it is, but I think they're strong mates.
Oh, okay. Well, the feedback that we've got so far has been like glowing, and within this time frame when Paul Mitchell came in, it was the complete opposite.
Is he a sporting director? This Wilson geezer.
He's come in as sporting
Excellent,
director.
Man. He came in. He sorted our recruitment out. He sorted the youth academy out as well, all within 5 minutes. Okay, I'm exaggerating, but very, very quickly. And that's what he'll do for you. He's an excellent appointment. And don't listen to what the Rangers fans say about him. It's a different world.
No, to be fair, all Newcastle fans tend to have listened. Certainly, our followers have listened to yourself and everything on social media that Forest fans have said have been very similar to you in terms of the opinion. But I'm going to move on because I'm going to end with Villa and Newcastle because I know we're going to stick to time tonight. But just some comments that have popped up. And the main one is around this one. Cut price for Elliot Anderson if he goes down. Tom said, Wolfie, Newcastle are coming for Anderson. Warren says, swap Anderson for Elanga. Lots of interesting things there. And the last one, Wolfie, question for Wolfie. Are you finishing 6th and winning the Europa League?
That's a great question. Is that still happening, mate?
Well, I've downgraded my expectations. I've downgraded my expectations in the league from 6th after our shit start to 7th. And yeah, I'm still winning the Europa League. Sorry.
Okay. So there's still confidence there. Still confident.
Can you imagine Dyche lifting a major European? Oh my God.
It's not happening, mate.
Outside of
you're gonna have to eat some serious humble pie for Dyche if he wins the Europa League. You're gonna be shaking your bum. Shaking your bum.
I will.
He will be. You know it.
He will be as well.
He will be shaking it violently if Dyche wins that European.
You couldn't even give me a semi, mate. Like,
you are going to be, for everyone else, you're going to be unbearable if Dyche wins that European trophy. You know it.
Let's cross that bridge if and when it happens, mate.
But my question to you, there's been a few reports. I know we chatted about it last night briefly. A few reports about Elliot Anderson, not just us, multiple teams interested in him. Do you think it's his last season? I don't personally see him going in January. I certainly don't see it is going in for him in January. But do you think it's just gas work and just over the top, or do you think genuinely there's a chance that he could leave?
I think if he goes in the summer, but I'm sure you and the chat, at least the Geordie fans would agree with me. He's one of the humblest people you'll ever see or speak to. He is not an Isak. He is not a Gyökeres. If Forest turned around to him and say, you're seeing out your contract, he will see out his contract. He didn't want to leave Newcastle, but he joined Forest under no, stubbornness or attitude or anything like that. The guy is one of the most professional footballers you can come across. And I think that's testament to how you guys brought him up. And I said this on my stream yesterday. So I think there is a chance he goes if the money they're talking about is legit, because he's not worth that much money. I think he's excellent, but he's not 120 million.
What do you think his value is there? Like
realistically, I'd say 80, something like that, because he's English.
I don't think he's worth that money.
No, I agree. I still agree, but you got to add English tax, Premier League tax, or hype tax as well.
No one's going to pay 80 million for him.
Well, we sold him for 35. I think it worked out.
I think he's probably He's worth between 60 and 70, I'd say.
So you're scrimping with me over 10 mil.
Well, between 60 and 70. Look,
yeah, but he won't, Charlie. He won't go for that low because you got to remember he's probably going to for the World Cup with England.
Yeah.
He's probably going to start alongside Declan Rice, and you would expect England to go deep into that competition. Now, the stories are that the suitors want to buy him before the World Cup,
yeah,
so that he can't shine at the World Cup. And Forest say, "Well, you just seen him lift that World Cup. That's another 20 mil on there." So the problem is as well, there's going to be a lot lining up for him. He has many flaws. The kid can't shoot to save his life, but everything else he's unbelievable at. So I think the 100 and 120 million is probably going to be too much. I can't see anyone paying 120. I'd agree on that. But in a world where you pay 108 million for Enzo Fernandez,
World Cup winner, mate.
Well, so could Anderson be this summer.
Yeah, but not a main part of it.
No, we'll wait. We'll wait and see. That one's going to be an ongoing story. I don't see it personally, but we're going to go to Villa next. Arguably one of the results of the weekend, 1-0 against City. A big result for you, as Wolfie said. Now in a great run of form. Are you guys back, Rich? Are you back in business?
I mean, you've got to say yes. I think. Obviously, the last time I was on, I think we'd maybe just beaten Fulham. So, I think we'd beaten
Emery out, mate.
Yeah, we beaten Bologna and we beaten Fulham, and that was a bit of unconvincing situation. And I was like, we have to beat Burnley in the next game, and then after the international break, the real test would come again in those 3 games, particularly Tottenham away, Manchester City at home, and next up Liverpool away. And to pick up 6 points from those 2 games, and look, the Tottenham game wasn't the best performance from either side. I don't know what was going on with Tottenham. They took the lead and then they just sat back, and they spent more time wiping the ball for a long throw-in for Danso than they did actually playing football. And Villa were just scored a couple of great goals and went off with the 3 points. But the performance on Sunday against Manchester City was just phenomenal. I mean, we know what Unai Emery's like as a coach. We know what he's like in terms of tactics, and he just absolutely schooled Pep Guardiola again. It's a third time in 3 years that we've beat them at Villa Park, and he's got the number over him. And we didn't just defend well. We didn't just shut all the angles down. We didn't just shut out Erling Haaland. We actually were a threat, and we probably deserve to win by more than 1-0. So yeah, we have to class us as being back, and it's good to see some other players starting to find some form, much like Morgan Rogers, and the midfield. I mean, Boubacar Kamara, brilliant midfielder, and I've said it so many times on this show about Amadou Onana. I mean, that was one of the first times that Onana's played in that way that I want him to play, just dominating midfield, using his strength, using his height. He was just an absolute monster, and those two totally dominated the midfield.
Sorry, boys, I'll catch you guys later.
Wolfie.
Nice one, mate. What's happened to Harvey Elliott, Rich? I've seen he weren't in the squad or something, but I've seen a few of Emery's comments saying he likes him, and he's working hard and whatnot. Do you think that's a bit of a weird one, or just a case of actually, he's not quite up to speed with how Emery wants to play, maybe doesn't understand the tactical side of what's being asked of him? Is that a bit of a strange one? Is it a worry for you, or you think Elliott will get himself together?
I'm not worried. Pete knows my thoughts on players. I'm not worried in any way, shape or form, but it is a bit of a puzzling one, because it's not like when Elliott's played, he hasn't stunk the place out. He's done okay. He's looked busy. He's looked lively. He's looked like he wants to get on the ball. He hasn't done anything really terribly wrong, and he's also been playing players like Evan Gesson quite a lot, who is erratic to say the least. There's some parts of his game where you can see him doing really well, like in terms of defensive positioning and getting back to support Matty Cash. But then moving forwards, he's really erratic. Like sometimes he can't control the ball, sometimes he can't run past the player, but then other times he'll do it. So it's strange that he's playing him, and then he's also going to the players like Sancho as well, like utilising him as soon as he was kind of back fit or whatever from his illness. So he's been utilising him, but not Elliott. And yet he's been saying some really good things about Harvey Elliott. I've just checked, though, on the sort of latest news on social media saying, and I think the Times have reported this, is that West Ham could be open to selling Lucas Paqueta in January because they need to generate funds. And Lucas Paqueta was the player that Unai Emery wanted. Yeah. He wanted him in the summer. So if it was Asensio, Paqueta, and then he ended up getting Harvey Elliott. So I don't know how much Harvey Elliott was an Unai Emery pick or whether it was a Monchi signing.
Is he a permanent? Is he a permanent Elliott?
No, he's not. He's a loan with an option or an obligation once he's featured 10 times or once he's. I don't know if it's 10 starts or if it's 10 appearances. So it's like, is he not playing him because he's gonna go back to Liverpool in January and he's gonna go for Lucas Paqueta? But then I don't know how much money Villa have got to put that on. But also someone in the chats there said, even Emi Buendia was ahead. I mean, I've been a massive critic of Emi Buendia.
He's been all right, hasn't he?
But someone actually put in, seasons before I was a massive critic of, but someone put in the comments what has been the catalyst for Aston Villa's turnaround, and Emi Buendia is probably the key catalyst to that turnaround. Like he came on against Fulham, he changed the game, he set up the goal for John McGinn, he scored against Feyenoord in the Europa League, and he's just been absolutely brilliant. Now he's just picked up an injury in the game against Man City, which is a real shame. So hopefully he's not out for too long. But he's been a massive, massive, massive turnaround in form for what Villa have done, particularly as Morgan Rogers wasn't playing very well at all. So yeah, Emi Buendia has been great, and I've kind of ate a bit of humble pie on him because he's done really, really well. As I say, particularly as some of the other sort of bigger Villa players had not been performing, but now, they've turned it around. And I know Billy got a lot of stick about Ezri Konsa, but they're in a better centre half in the Premier League right now.
You said last night you thought it was world class.
I do. Yeah, I really do.
We're not doing this.
I really do. I can never understand why an Aston Villa player can't be world class.
No, it's not. No,
if he went to Chelsea, all the press would say he was world class.
No.
He's a top centre back. I would say that he's one of the top centre backs in the Premier League. I'd certainly put him in sort of the top 10, top 8 in terms of top centre backs in there. But in terms of world class, I still need to see another level from him for me to say that. That's just my opinion on it. But I think
he's doing well. He's a good player.
He would get into Chelsea's. I know it's not. I know it's quite a low bar, but he'd be Chelsea's best centre back.
Oh yeah, easy.
But remember, Rich, we're going back a few years. Remember when I got loads of shit from Villa fans about hammering Mings, and I got loads of rubbish from Villa fans saying that I rated Konsa back then.
Yeah,
I said I rated him higher than Mings, and I got absolutely.
What happens to Mings? Is Mings just gone now? I know he's still there, but
he had he'd been injured. I mean, to be fair, him and Konsa, like Torres wasn't playing particularly well at the back end of last season and the start of this season. It was almost like it was the 2021 Aston Villa all over again. It was Cash, Mings, Konsa, and Luca Dean that were the main back four, and it was like, what the hell, what's going on here? Because Mings was Mings was still playing really well, and then he got an injury, unfortunately, and Pau Torres has come in, and he's improved on his physicality and his sort of, I guess, grit, like what you were talking about, Pete, just that willingness to put your head in where it's going to get hurt. And you, as for all Mings' faults, you cannot say that he will not put his head in where it hurts. He can't. He won't. He will head and kick everything. But he's improved in that, Pau Torres. He's obviously got the passing quality, which Mings doesn't have in terms of seeing those passes through the lines into midfield. Not Mings' fault. That's not his game. But then Ezri Konsa has almost taken some of that mantle that Tyrone Mings had in terms of that leadership and that just the guidance and the encouragement of the players. So they seem to have like formed a good partnership at centre back, and that's going to be. I would hope that that'll be the number one defensive partnership moving forward for the rest of the season. And then, Matty Cash, he's another player who's been really criticised by Aston Villa supporters.
New contract in the back pocket.
But he's always been one of those fullbacks who, if you give him one job to do, and you just say, just concentrate on that one job, he'll do it really well. Like if you just say, just shut that wide man up, just shut him off. Don't worry about attacking. Don't worry about supporting the play. Just do that job. He'll do it. Or if it was the other way around, go and attack. Don't worry about defending. He'd struggle. But now he can do multiple things, and that's the difference. And and Luca Dean obviously is always going to be a 7 out of 10 man. And he's fairly solid. So there's lots of positives at the moment with Villa. It's just about, it's crazy, isn't it? Because I was going to say this on Potts' show yesterday. It's like every week is like some sort of soap opera. Like every single week, it's like it's champions or crisis. And really, it's as I say, we're very early days. I mean, I know we were giving you a load of grief before, mainly because you lost to Sunderland, but before that you'd won like 4 or 5 games in a row. So it's all relative, isn't it? And if Villa go and lose to Liverpool, it's not like the end of the world. No. But it's just nice to have a few wins under your belt.
But if you beat Liverpool, it sends them into meltdown. It makes Newcastle fans happy, and it propels you onto a level where you could really go on a run and do some serious damage in the Premier League. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like we've almost kind of been opposite of Liverpool. Like they started the season winning every game, and then have lost their way, lost 4 in a row or 5 in a row, whatever it is. And Villa have had a poor start to the season, but then have really turned it around for these last sort of 4 or 5 games. So, and are we above them now, or are we the same points as them? I couldn't say, but yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But it's just like I say, those 2 games, the Tottenham and Liverpool games, were the real test to see had we really turned the corner. And through, I think, a bit of luck, some good tactics, and just working together, and that togetherness has pulled Villa through. And now you can start to think, right, well, this is not a bad time to play Liverpool, is it? Like if you were going to pick any time to play Liverpool, you would pick now, because their team looks like sort of bereft of confidence. They're not quite sure who's playing where. They're not quite sure how they want to play. That sort of marauding style of Liverpool over the last 4 or 5 seasons has completely gone.
Yeah,
and they just seem a bit of a mess. So with the likes of Onana, Rodgers, Watkins, I mean McGinn, you mentioned it before, Pete. You can't ever overlook John McGinn and his importance to the team. Like he absolutely bullied Gvardiol on Sunday. Yeah, and he gets himself into positions. He wriggles away from players. He's deceptively quicker than people think he is. He's just a brilliant player to have in your team.
That's what Chelsea need. You've got the fantasy level elite players that you spent a lot of money on in that midfield, but they need that nastiness, that player that's not nice to look at. He's not a fancy player that you might go and spend 70, 80 million on. But what he does is a really important job, particularly in games like against Sunderland. It'll make a difference. And that's the type of player I think Chelsea need. And John McGinn is a perfect example of that. I would always say someone like Joe Linton's very similar. Like he will just ruffle feathers. Like you get so many opposition teams that hate playing against him, not because he's technically great on the ball, because he's anything but that. But he just ruffles feathers and makes things very, very difficult. And I think if Chelsea are going to go to the next level, that's what they're missing. I'm just going to ask one last question. This is with regards to Newcastle. Obviously, we won at the weekend, last minute goal against Fulham. But I'm not going to ask you about Newcastle regarding to the Premier League. Is going on to a bit last night. You'll remember this, Rich, because Deji was quite dismissive of the game tomorrow night, thinking that they're going to easily win at St James's Park.
against the Carabao Cup champions. Yeah.
But so what do you boys think then? Going into that game tomorrow night against Tottenham, who do you think's got the kind of the edge in that contest? 'Cause it's going to be a great game, in my opinion.
The thing with these cup games is it's so difficult because so many changes get made. So you don't really it hasn't got the same feel.
There will. Two big teams up against each other.
Yeah, no, there'll still be changes. Spurs have got us on Saturday at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. There'll be changes. There might not be loads of changes, but they won't. There'll be changes. Look, Spurs are probably a better team than Newcastle right now in terms of start to the season. But St James's Park, you're defending that title. I would probably fancy Newcastle in this game, but I think a lot of it's going to depend on what 11s are put out as well. But I would probably just fancy Newcastle because Spurs, by the way, are playing well this season, as much as I hate to say it. And the away record under Thomas Frank has been good. But as I said, it's going to come. As I said, it's going to come down to, for me personally, what level of sides are put out. I'd probably just say Newcastle will probably get it, but it wouldn't be a total surprise if Spurs won.
Yeah, if there's a big intimidating atmosphere, which I'm sure there will be night game at St James's, I think Newcastle will have the edge, definitely. And, you guys have got a good squad. Like, you've got a good level of player that is, you can change the team without really affecting the quality of the 11. Harvey Barnes doesn't get in every game. Yeah. It'd be likely that he starts. Jacob Ramsey comes in, probably.
Please. I need him to start.
He'll play well for 5 or 6 games, then get injured again, unfortunately.
Nah, don't say that. You only just come back, Rich. Don't do that.
But that's what he's like.
That's what he does.
That's Jacob Ramsey.
60 minutes against Benfica in his first game back.
He's great. He's a great carrier of the ball. That's his brilliant skill set. So
you know what? It wasn't even that. Like he did that really well, and he made really intelligent runs. But it's his intelligence in understanding his positioning within his role in the team that I think, for the fact that he's only played a small amount of games, he's already picked that up. And like there were times against Benfica that he was almost kind of playing left back. Byrne was bombing on, and he just had that just intelligence just to go, you know what, I'm going to hold my position here. And he was able to pick up the ball and retain and regurgitate possession and just keep Benfica penned back. And he was starting off a lot of those plays. And we don't get that from Joelinton. We get the physical in the battle, but we don't get that little bit of understanding and quality and just being able to nick passes together that continues attacks. And I actually hope, I think he will start tomorrow. And I hope he does, because I think that type of player could make the difference against Tottenham.
Yeah, and you could bring Fabian Schär in. You've got Ramsdale people in the chat saying, so you've got some good players that can come in off the out from the cold or get some extra minutes that aren't going to massively affect the quality of the side. I don't know with Tottenham. Like Kolo Muani is a decent forward player, but Solanke's not fit. John Lattel, he's not very good. There's Odebear is a bit in and out. Archie Gray, where you're going to play him? I can't see. Maybe Sarr plays. He's a good player. He's not been getting in. Yeah. So they've still got a good squad, but it's like I feel like Newcastle, even if they made changes, I don't think that would affect the quality of the 11 as much as it might affect Spurs if Spurs make the changes, and then you add the atmosphere in there. I think Newcastle will have the edge.
Yeah, Sandro Tonali will be fit and no doubt will start. He's not started the last 2 games. Like I said, Jacob Ramsey as well. People are talking about Miley in the chat. Miley came in for Tonali and was absolutely brilliant against Benfica. Was good again against Fulham as well. So, like you said, we've got options, but I don't want too many changes, if that makes sense. I still want Voltemeda to start. I'd like Gordon to start as well. So if Barnes plays, he maybe plays on the right.
Who have you got on the weekend?
We have West Ham on Sunday away.
Away?
Yeah.
We're playing Sunday as well. No, maybe he won't make too many changes then.
Yeah, I kind of hope he doesn't. There's a few players that have played a lot of minutes that we may need to manage slightly, but I don't want too many changes. Like, I mean, our fullback position with Tino and Hall, they're just about to come back, but they won't be fit. So we'll have to go with Burn and Trippier at fullback again. Like, they're the oldest players in the team pretty much, but they'll be playing the most minutes. But Sean might come in, but Malik Chow has been absolutely superb.
Yeah, he looks really good.
He's such a good player. And I kind of don't want him to come out of the team, because that's where, unless Botman, because Botman came off with a cut to his eye in the build-up to their equaliser. He's been assessed. He hasn't got concussion. But whether they do Malik Chow on the left and Shaw right, which is what we played in the final knock into the game, whether they go with that again, I don't know. But we'll wait and see. But Deji's getting it. Deji, if we beat them, Deji is getting it.
Tell you what, Pete, Deji on Monday night, if you beat him and then we beat him, that's a long couple of days for him.
You watch him be at the Ballers League next Monday. You watch.
Mate, if we lose a game, I'll just be like, Potts, I'm going Baller League. See you later. Quality. Right, boys, we'll wrap it up there. Massive thanks to everyone in the chat. Make sure you get those likes up, people that are joined a little bit late. And as well as that, make sure you hit that hype button once the show has ended. Big thanks to the panel tonight. Great chat as always. Blue Brothers CFC. Make sure you go and subscribe to Charlie and follow him on all socials. Of course, you've got Villa Park Pod and Rich. Make sure you go and subscribe to Rich and Villa Park Pod. Go and check out the channels. Great content. And of course, Wolfie on Forest Fans TV. Actually, I'm going to redirect you now to Wolfie on Just Joe's channel, Leeds United fan, who's been on our preview on Loaded Mag NUFC before. So I'm going to redirect you to there. People, absolute pleasure. Let's wait and see. Fingers crossed for victories for Newcastle and Chelsea tomorrow. And let's wait and see. No victory for Villa tomorrow.
That wasn't me, Rich.
On the Europa League.
You were thinking it. I just said it.
You know what? I was actually thinking, is Charlie going to say it? And he did.
He did.
I shouldn't have thought it, because I knew
you were over.
It's done. People, we're out of here. We'll speak to you soon. We'll redirect you. Just hashtag Loaded Mag Raid when you go over to Just Joe. Take care, people. See you soon.
All night, get you wide up beside and tell me side to side. You can say, JC, you're too much for me. I am a little bit of loneliness, a little bit of disregard, handful of complaints, but I can't help the fact that everyone can see these scars. I am what I want you to want, what I want you to feel, and it's like no matter what I do, I can't convince you to just believe this is real. So let go, watching you turn your back, you always do. Face away and pretend that I'm not